25 past the hour. Two inspectors general have asked the Department of Justice to open a criminal investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server while Secretary of State. A Justice Department official confirms that the department has received a criminal referral. A source tells NBC News that in question whether Clinton mishandled sensitive government information. The New York Times was first to report the story and reports the IGs wrote in a memo last month that her private server held hundreds of potentially classified emails. In a statement, the Clinton campaign says, quote, this, contrary to the initial story, which has already been significantly revised, she followed appropriate practices in dealing with classified materials. As has been reported on multiple occasions, any released emails deemed classified by the administration have been done so after the fact and not at the time they were transmitted. Willie.
Let's get more on this now. In Washington, New York Times reporter Michael Schmidt. He helped break this story. Michael, good to see you this morning. Is it true, as the Clinton campaign says, that you had to revise the story? And if so, how did you do it?
We made a minor change to the story shortly after it went online that said that the investigation was in connection with her email use, that's where the investigation sort of generated and started from. It didn't really deviate our story much from where we were before, and it was in response to some complaints that we'd received from the Clinton camp that we thought were reasonable, and we made them. It doesn't really change much of what's going on. These inspector generals have gone to the Justice Department and said that classified information was mishandled here. They found it in the course of looking into her account, and they said to the Justice Department, was there a crime committed here? Look into this.
So, Michael, flesh this out a little bit more. What specifically are they looking at, or what are some of the new things that we haven't heard in this previous saga about Hillary Clinton's email?
Well, what happened was that these inspector generals were brought in to look at the issue of the classified information. How was the State Department handling it, and how much of it was on Hillary Clinton's account? And when they did this, they were able to see that there was classified things that were floating around in the non-classified part of the State Department and in her account that shouldn't have been there. And whenever they see stuff like that that may have violated the law, they go out and they say, look, we can only take this so far. We're inspector generals. We're not the Justice Department. You guys are the ones that didn't look at it and enforce the laws. And here's what we saw, and you guys figure out what you think.
Gene Robinson reading between the lines here, and it's awfully early in this story, but it sounds like we may have some parallels. If the inspector generals believe she has classified documents on these servers that she should not have, these emails, it sounds a little bit like David Petraeus being too lax with classified documents.
Yeah, I mean, that it could be, you know, the phrase I heard in the report was potentially classified. I'm not quite sure what that means, but this is a big question for the Clinton campaign, and it has been a question since the beginning. I don't think she did a good job in answering those questions from the start. If you remember the press conference that she gave to try to explain why she had her own server in her own house and then wiped it clean. That's, you know, people are going to ask about that. My question for Michael is, as the Clinton campaign reacted, you said they asked for and received one minor correction in the story or revision in the story. Did you have the sense that they were trying to jump on this issue with both feet, or that they were in any sense kind of thrashing around and hoping it goes away, or what was the vibe that you were getting from the Clinton campaign?
Well, first of all, they said that it was this substantial change that we made to the story. I don't think it was. I think it was a thing that sort of refocused the lead of the story and such. It was very strong. They came at us very strong and very late and very forcefully. And it was certainly something they jumped on much harder than back in March when the initial story came out about the account. That pushback was very different and far more muted.